Born on December 28, 1922, Stanley Martin Lieber is an American comic book writer, editor, and publisher who created some of the most iconic superheroes of all time, including Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the Incredible Hulk, Daredevil, and many, many more. Formerly Executive Vice President and Publisher of Marvel Comics, he is generally looked at as the man who brought comic books into the mainstream, and is now known best for his Comic-Con appearances and his cameos in every Marvel film. But you already knew that. So, here are 10 things you probably didn't know about Stan Lee. Number 10. His first writing job was writing obituaries. Before writing the tights and flights stories he would come to be known for, Lee began his writing career writing press releases and obituaries for news services. He said later he quit that job because it depressed him. Number 9. He wrote training films with Dr. Seuss. During his stint in the Army, Lee worked as a playwright in the training film division in Queens, though he wasn't the only writer who would later become famous. Other notable writers who worked with Lee in the Army were future director Frank Capra, Charles Addams, who would go on to create the Addams Family, you might have heard of them, and a young man by the name of Theodore Geisel, aka Dr. Seuss. Number 8. He was running Marvel before he was 20. In 1939, Lee became an assistant at Timely Comics under publisher Martin Goodman. His job at the time was to make sure the inkwells were full and getting lunches for the artists and writers. After a dispute with Goodman, Joe Simon and Jack Kirby left the company, and Lee then became the writer on the book they had left, Captain America. Goodman was so impressed with his writing talents on the book, Goodman made Lee an interim editor. Lee was 19. Number 7. The Destroyer was the first character he ever created for a comic book. Debuting in Mystic Comics number 6 in October of 1941, the Destroyer was Lee's most popular character up to that point. Co-created by Jack Binder and Alex Schomburg, the Destroyer was an American journalist who was captured by Nazis and injected with an experimental super soldier serum. He then escaped and used his new abilities to fight the Nazis. That sounds familiar. Number 6. His big break came through Captain America. When Jack Kirby and Joe Simon left the business temporarily in 1941, they had completed issues number 1 and number 2 of the Captain America comic book. Lee was asked to write issue number 3 called The Traitor's Revenge, and it was the first comic book Lee ever wrote. It marked the first time he wrote under the name Stan Lee, and it was the first time Cap ever threw his shield. Number 5. He almost quit the comics business. In the 1950s, the comic book business was in trouble. In the post-World War II era, superheroes were on the way out. During this time, Lee had been in the business for over 20 years and had grown tired of it and wanted to try different things. Publisher Martin Goodman asked Lee to create a new comic about a team to compete with DC's Justice League. Lee was able to do the comic the way he wanted to, which ignited his passion again for the business. The comic book he created? The Fantastic Four. Number 4. His wife destroyed his typewriter. According to Lee, he and his wife were having a pretty heated argument, during which she destroyed the typewriter that he had used to write the first issues of Spider-Man. Lee has joked about the incident, saying, This happened before eBay. Too bad I could have auctioned the parts and made a mint. Number 3. He once wrote for DC Comics. I know what you're thinking. Mr. Narrator, you shut your whore mouth. But it's true. In the early 2000s, when Lee officially retired, quote unquote, he wrote a series of books for DC called Just Imagine, where Lee reimagined the origin stories of DC's biggest characters like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash. I read them. They're fine. Number 2. He has cameoed in more than just Marvel films. Though he is known for appearing in almost every Marvel film, the truth is, Lee has cameoed or appeared in some fashion in over 100 films and television shows, including Mallrats, The Princess Diaries 2, The Big Bang Theory, Phineas and Ferb, Robot Chicken, Mad TV, and many, many others. Number 1. His cameos are in his contract. Ever wondered why Stan Lee is in every Marvel movie? It's tradition, right? Actually, no. It's in his contract. There is a special clause in his contract that he must appear in every film based on one of his characters. Though he didn't actually create Captain America or the Guardians of the Galaxy, but you know, semantics, I guess. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this that are uploaded weekly, please hit subscribe. If there's a certain celebrity that you would like to see featured in an upcoming video, please leave their name in the comment section below.